Professor Anurag Kumar, Director, Indian Institute of Science, Professor G. Rangarajan, Chairman, Division of Interdisciplinary Research, Professor Pradeep Datta, Professor V. Rajarajan, and Dr. Sanjay Vajpayee, who has come from DST, all the other senior faculty members here, all the PhDs, students, researchers, people from industry, and other distinguished guests and friends from the media. Friend, it's a very, very privileged moment for me. This is my second visit to this institution or this campus as such. But you do science, and you do science with our help, but you are under HRD. So you tend to forget us most of the time, but remember us only when you need some grant. Just joking, don't take it seriously. So I remember I came to this very hall sometimes in 2015. It was probably when I had released one book of one of your colleague professors, Professor Akhilesh, on management issues in research and all. And it was a very useful book. And since then, because that was the first time I had a good quality introduction with him, so for the subsequent years he helped us in our DST meetings, and we used to call him for DST meetings and see what our people are doing, and then to give us some management inputs about research and all that. So after that, today it's a very, very prestigious occasion, and what you are doing and what has been shown to me about this new project, which we call as the Supercritical Carbon Dioxide Baryton Cycle Test Loop Facility, which has a huge potential to virtually change the energy scene of the country and of course the whole world. I've been told that similar research is going on in 4 more countries. It's in, I was told, in America, UK, and maybe Korea, Japan. These are the 4 places. But I'm happy to learn that in spite of the fact that they have been doing it for 15 years, and we started this activity only 5 years back, we are right now at par with them in terms of whatever we have been able to achieve till now as outcomes. There are some technical issues, or maybe whatever you call as scientific issues to be resolved. But I'm sure that with the type of dedication and the quality of sincerity, etc., that our scientists have in this country, and more particularly this institution, I know is one of the, it's a pride of the, not only the science community, but it is a pride for the whole country, and it's probably the only institution which finds a place amongst the top, maybe top 10 of the whole world. That may be by definition small, but you have a 400 acres campus, and and you have a 100 years long history, and the history is so inspiring. Whenever I come to Bangalore and I am around in this area, I can visualize Swami Vivekananda talking to Jamshedji Tata, moving from Japan to Chicago in 1893, and then It reminds us of the great Chicago address of Swami Vivekananda, which created so much of history for not only India but for the whole world, and more particularly for America. They never allowed him to come back for many years after that. So it's you see this institution, if it may not be an exaggeration to say this has the soul of Swami Vivekananda here. He's watching what is, and he's the man who in fact said that you can blend everything so well, whether it is values or education or science or spirituality, all these good things. He gave us the thought process to actually blend all of them together and deliver them or use them for the betterment of mankind. And this is an occasion to, in fact, I would certainly love to express our gratitude to the great people like Jamshedji Tata, who visualized this institution, and not only visualized, developed that great connection and got the Maharaja of Mysore also into it, got the government, whether they were the Britishers at that time, and then got this great building. And coming here also reminds me of the greats like Sir C.V. Raman. I think I still remember when I go to the institution which is called the Cultivation of Science, Indian Institute of Cultivation of Science in Calcutta. I see a very emotional photograph of Sir C.V. Raman. I don't know how many of you have seen that photograph or not, but there is a photograph where he virtually has tears in his eyes while he has gone to receive the Nobel Prize in 1930, because there is no Indian flag in front of his, where he's sitting on the table in front of him, because we didn't achieve independence at that time. So it's a place where you had the greats like Bharat Ratna, Sir C.V. Raman, Nobel Prize winner, who was the first Indian director, and then later on many great personalities. So Professor Anurag Kumar is, I think, is lucky to be one following the footsteps of great people like Professor C.N. Rao, another Bharat Ratna, and so many, Dr. Padmanabhan, and then I was looking at the number of a lot of Rhodes scholars, lot of you see fellows of the Royal Society, lot of thousands of members of the Indian and the Foreign Academy of Sciences here, also hundreds of S.S. Bhatnagar awardees. I know what an S.S. Bhatnagar awardee means. Then 4 of your directors were knighted also. So it's a fantastic place. It's a privilege, and to have a faculty of 450 learned teachers with 4,000 students, 2,800 out of them just PhD students. And I was so happy to learn that your postgraduate program for this MTech is even superior to the IITs. So this place, I would say maybe it's the holiest of places for science in this country. Fortunately for us in India, right now we have a very great period in the sense that we have a very, very passionate Prime Minister. Passionate in the sense is not only passionate for the various things that you keep hearing day in and day out about the poor people, or for the farmers, or for the laborers or for solving the problems, but he's very, very passionate about science. And he has a huge and tremendous confidence in the ability of our science professionals, in the ability of our engineers, doctors, and he strongly feels. And in fact, I have also now, after having spent almost 3.5 years in science ministries, and lately in the environment ministry also, because most of my life I have worked in the field of health, almost 4 decades. And that has always been a passion area for me. But after having worked here as Science and Technology Minister, I strongly feel that science probably has enough strength and potential to solve virtually every unresolved issue of this country. It is only the direction and the approach, a new vision, a new out-of-box thinking, and then to develop an innovation ecosystem in the country where everybody, and especially the young people, are thinking afresh. Not means we are doing fundamental research, but at the back of our mind it should always be the problems of the country, and more particularly the problems of the people of this country, which have to be solved. The whole thing has to be people-centric. And this is why I keep telling at every forum that the scientific community should now think of revising the definition of the impact factor. It should not be what and how many times your science paper is means after publication seen by other researchers. It should be how much the research that you do, it actually will make a perceptible and a measurable impact in changing the lives of the people. And if I think that approach is changed, and the way I see after having visited almost every science institution in the country belonging to CSIR and biotechnology, DST, Ministry of Earth Sciences now, I see so much happening inside the laboratories, so many new technologies and so many solutions being found that I agree with the earlier speakers that the bigger problem for us is translation or transfer of technology ultimately to the people through the industry. In science and technology, we have in the last 2-3 years we are trying to develop a very good quality synergy between the various, you can say, facets of science, various departments of science within the scientific community also, and asking the scientific community and the institutions to work in, you can say, with sectors in their mind. Means few institutions, they are working together for the energy sector, some are working for the strategic sector, whether it's a biochemical sector or a chemistry sector or a physical sector, etc., etc. We have to ensure that we no longer work in silos. And I think this all is actually producing a significant change. Because when I look at parameters of evaluation of the position that we enjoy at the international level, it's quite encouraging, and it gives us a sense of pride about the achievements of our scientists. In the afternoon, I am going to visit your nanotechnology thing. It's a newer thing, but we are third in the whole world. In advanced manufacturing, advanced engineering, we are again third in the whole world. CSIR, when I look at the achievements of CSIR amongst a list of 1200 institutions all over the world funded by government money, funded by government support. We, as per the latest Shimago ranking, we are ranked at 9th position in the whole world is a list of 1200, and similarly ranked at 75 in a list of over 5,000 institutions supported by government as well as the private sector. We are number one in early tsunami warnings in a country which was taken aback in 2004. It's not too far back. And in weather forecasting and in, you see, early diagnosis or prediction of cyclones, etc. We are number 4 in the whole world. Only America, England and Japan are ahead of us. We have just installed the biggest, most powerful, high-performance computer of the whole country, taking our capacity to 8 petaflops. And in terms of your research publications also that you do day in and day out, and which you feel so happy about, we are 6th in the whole world with the growth rate of 14% as compared to 4. So as scientific community, I think we have done quite well. We are like this example of what I have been able to inaugurate today is also a very, very great example that you have been able to reach to a level in 5 years which the others have been able to do in 15 years. But now is the time when you can beat all of them. Means if you maintain the same speed and the same intelligence and the same commitment and the same dedication and the same devotion. And of course, we have to thank and congratulate Triveni turbines. At least one industry has come forward. The Indian Navy has come forward. So we, without losing heart, we have to, I think, keep trying, keep pushing, and see that our dream should be that we don't think of finishing it in 5 years, 10 years. Our dream should be to deliver it to the whole world as number 1 country in the whole world, and for not only this facility, but most of the facilities. And I am sure that you all have the capacity and the capability to do that. Most of the people in the scientific community, they look at the Indian Institute of Science with a lot of, you see, respect and hope. I think my own DG in CSIR is probably a product of Indian Institute of Science, and every time in any discussion he will bring the Indian Institute of Science into the discussion. So everyone who has been, so all of you students, I feel that you are really fortunate and to have got this opportunity to be part of this institution. My only appeal to all of you is that whatever you are doing, there should be a very, very well-defined, definite purpose behind your efforts. The biggest problem of our country in general is that we are usually habitual of doing routine work. And from that routine mode, what we have seen is that our Prime Minister wants the country to change itself and get into a proactive, dynamic, versatile, or I would say out-of-the-box mode. And that is where we will find solutions to many of the issues. There are a large number of national missions that he has launched since the time he took over as Prime Minister of India, whether it's the Swasth Bharat or a Swachh Bharat or a Digital India or a Skill India, etc., etc., and a Namami Gange program. All these programs, and more particularly for the issues related to health, water, energy. All these programs, they need a very strong and good quality backing of science and the scientific professionals to be able to really deliver the true relevant outcomes. And I would request that Indian Institute of Science, you should in fact ensure that for everything that we do, because there are very strong, powerful, ambitious goals that have been set. Whether it's a clean energy goal, it's a very strong 175 gigawatts by 2022. There is a strong mission innovation for handling issues of climate change and global warming. We are talking of electric vehicles by 2030. We are talking of doubling farmers' income by 2022. These are the issues as a science person, if you think, what can we do about the farmers? But when I visit my labs, I see that a small text message that my Earth Sciences Ministry sends to the farmers. It sends a small text message to 24 million farmers in this country, just telling them what's going to be the weather in your area in the next 2-3 days. And according to that, the farmer is planning his agricultural activities, when he will sow his seed, if there is a heavy downpour, he will preserve his water, how he will conserve water, how he will protect his all the agricultural things. And just because of that one text message sent to 24 million farmers, science has been able to give India a 50,000 crores positive impact in GDP. This is not some guesswork. This is a report of the National Council for Applied Economic Research. So I mentioned this just to make you feel the potential that your small, you can say, application of science for the benefit, and now they intend to take it forward to almost 50 million farmers by the middle of this year. And then ultimate goal is to take it to 93 million. And similarly, they do it for the fishermen. They will send a message, and fishermen will get an idea about a potential fishing zone or a safe zone. And it again produces an impact of thousands of crores in the GDP. Lot of fantastic things are happening in science, and apart from the fundamental science that you do, there is a directional change. People are now more and more getting inclined and involved in solution science, and that is the science that we expect to be delivered from institutions like this more and more, day in and day out. The Indian Institute of Science should be diagnosing the problems of this country and then putting the right scientists to actually find out treatment for those diagnoses. That is what is, I think, needed. And this is where we can actually really help Prime Minister Narendra Modi realize his dream of a new India by 2022. He keeps appealing to all of us, and for doing that we need not be doing very big things. We have to just put small, we have to develop small dreams for ourselves also, apply our total, you can say, put our heart and soul into realization of our own dreams, and see that within our own life, in the next few years, we realize those dreams and then add something very, very positive for producing a new India 2022. I think people here are very, very intelligent, and as far as the Department of Science and Technology is concerned, I can assure you that we are already helping not only Indian Institute of Science, but helping many institutions in this country who are genuinely helping a lot of IITs, a lot of research scholars. There are a number of schemes that have been initiated, starting from Inspire to so many other fellowships like the Ramanujan Fellowship. I saw his bust here, and Ramalinga Swami Awards for those who are outside the country. There is already a process of brain gain which has now started establishing from the brain drain, which we used to talk for years together, and for those and for the young people to give them attractive incentives not to leave this country and dedicate themselves. Already I feel happy to tell you that in the last 2-3 years over 300 scientists, they have come back to India, and we feel so happy about it that people, because of their love for the country, they are now dedicating their lives in a very sincere manner in the laboratories of this country. So once again assuring you of all possible help for all the good work that you are doing, for that you want to do in future, and for all your passion and programs. And for the young people, I can tell you that the Prime Minister through his Startup and Stand-Up program, this is not a program of some slogans or something, and 10,000 crore rupees is not kept only in the treasury. Any young man, whether even if he is not a formally literate person, if he has a bright idea in his mind, and if he wants to convert that idea into an entrepreneurship program, wants to become an entrepreneur, to establish himself, to stand on his own feet, plus also to help the society, plus to help the humanity, help the country. The whole government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi stands rock solid behind you, and more particularly the Science and Technology Department. I know hundreds and thousands of young people, they have been helped and supported in the last few years for their startup activities, and a lot of these incubators have been created, whether it's a technology business incubator, whether it's a biotechnology incubator, the technology parks, and a lot of schemes for the women scientists also. And on 8th of March, we are this year having a very big grand event for the women scientists. More particularly, I wish to invite all the women scientists who are sitting here in this audience for that big function in Delhi on 8th of March of the women scientists. So I assure all of you, and once again congratulate you for this great achievement. But we should not be happy with having done our bit, whatever we have been able to, but ultimately we have to ensure that we are able to deliver this to the country in the fastest possible manner, so that we have this supercritical strategy help us in strengthening our energy efficiency and energy needs of the country, and helping thereby also the cause of climate change, mitigation issues and all that. So thank you so much, and once again wish you all good luck. I feel so privileged to be part of this august audience today, and I wish you all good luck for your bright future. Thank you.